Anonymous says, I can't stop thinking about my ex, but not in the way you might think. Apologies in advance as this gets a bit intense. My ex and I spent nearly 3 years together in college and have been broken up for almost as much time. The relationship was toxic to a degree I'm embarrassed to even acknowledge. I have a slew of mental health issues that were at times used against me or thrown in my face, including anxiety, OCD, depression, and ADHD. I was manipulated, gaslit, and mentally abused at every turn, and yet somehow believed that each resulting event was completely my fault. I was made to think I needed this person to survive because it was also my first relationship, and through it, it also made me come out as bisexual. My parents, though now understanding and supportive, were not initially. Any criticism they made about my partner later on was twisted in my mind by my partner as an attack on our queer relationship. I was separated from so much and turned into a person I did not recognize. She was very involved in drinking and drug use and was in multiple accidents when I was put in sole charge of medical decisions and contacting her parents at the ripe age of 18. Needless to say, this has left me with a paralyzing fear of putting my trust in anyone else again. I have had a few other partners, none of which long-term, and all of them with patterns that reflect my initial partner. I have been single for over a year and am now 23 with a stable job, amazing family and friends, a perfect dog, and thousands of miles away from people from my past. But I can't stop thinking about this person, feeling responsible for their livelihood, wanting to know what they are doing and if they are okay. How can I move on and rid myself of these overwhelming thoughts? I don't want to bring this baggage anywhere near a new potential partner, and truthfully am terrified of what dating would even look like now. I would love to hear your thoughts and have valued your YouTube channel and now podcast for years. Thank you for taking the time to read my messy story.
I don't think your story is as messy or embarrassing as you think. I think it's probably something a lot of people can relate to. So don't feel bad about that. And thanks for writing in, because I do feel like it is a very relatable thing that a lot of people might feel alone about. So thank you for being vulnerable and writing in.
Yeah, it is weird when somebody haunts you, right? And that you can't seem to let them go. Honestly, a thing, and I've said this before, a thing that helps me is to remember that I don't even know that person anymore.
Right.
Especially in your early 20s, you're changing so much. They're changing so much. If you met them on the street, you might not even recognize them.
You might not recognize them. You might be like, oh, your favorite movie. No, that's changed.
Right.
The way that you handle stress. Oh, no, that's changed. Completely different.
That's honestly helped me, not get as hung up on my ex-fiance, because I'm like, oh, well, if I ran into him by accident, it would be a stranger.
Right.
I don't know him anymore. He doesn't know me anymore. Yes, we have a shared past, but our current selves are probably completely different in a lot of ways. And so I think it's also it's really hard, right? When you ruminate, how do you stop yourself from ruminating? But one of the things that I loved that my old therapist told me when I was going through my heartbreak was that it was really important for me to make memories with somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I think that even though dating feels really difficult and scary, just the more memories that you have of other people to fill up that space in your mind, that might be really helpful. And it might just gradually over time realize that you're not thinking about them as much. But the other big thing to think about that I've been learning a lot about in school and just taking into my own life is we assign a lot of meaning to our thoughts that we don't have to.
Yeah, it could just be a passing thing.
Right. I totally get why it's worrisome that you're still thinking about this person all the time. But I think that maybe you're making it more worrisome by attaching meaning to the fact that you think about them.
Yeah. I had a day where I found a playlist from an ex-boyfriend and I was like, oh, this is a really good playlist. And I was listening to it and I was had a day where I was thinking about him and being I wonder, what he's up to or whatever. But if I had been oh my God, I'm thinking about this person, that's, that's bad. And does this mean I have to contact them? Does this mean that all these things? And it's no, I was you know what? I had a little nostalgia for what our relationship used to be. and like, what a good playlist, you know? And then just like, I did look up our old emails, and to be honest, looking back on it was helpful because I was like, oh my God, like these are the emails of someone who is obsessed with the other. Like I would write so much to him and he would legitimately write back K. Like, do you know what I mean? So like looking back on it objectively, like without that being so forefront, I was like, oh my God, like this was bad. So like I think sometimes facing the reality of it and being like, this was not as great or as like epic as you thought it was. Like I was like, this was such an epic relationship. Blah, blah. No, it really wasn't. Like, I don't think that dude liked me at all. And like, I think you just like moving on and not assigning so much depth to it or not being like, this was so, you know, important. Like now I was just like, that was a fun playlist. And also like, what a silly year of my life that was. And it didn't make me go, oh my God, I need to, you know, I need to spend time like hating myself and I need to like, you know, worry about why am I thinking about this person? Like, does that mean anything? It's like, no, it doesn't. Sometimes you think about the past.
And you get in habits, right? And so you're in a habit of probably thinking about this person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that not indulging the thoughts, you know, like noticing, okay, I've thought about them, but not like I said before, trying to dig into what does this mean? Does this mean I should contact them? Does this mean they are still my responsibility? Yeah, and just really taking away this idea that their well-being is anything you need to worry about.
I know. Or if you're going to like get something from them. Like one ex who was, I think, left a big dent in that I don't feel like I can trust compliments. And I'm not going to get anything from that person apologizing. I'm not going to get anything from that person, you know, I just realized that it's going to come from me. Like I'm not going to get anything from that person saying, yeah, what I did was bad. I just have to like figure out on my own how to not let that affect relationships. And like someone that I was seeing didn't know about this history, obviously, and was very complimentary. And I mean, I just was like, you're full of shit. Like I could not believe any compliment. I kept being like, this is love bombing. This is a lie. This is whatever. And you and I have said this on this show before that if someone comes in super hot, both of us, I think, are like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you being so over the top? Like, you know, so it's hard because it makes this person wanted me to feel special. And all it did was make me remember this ex and be like, I think you're lying. But that's not fair to this other person. But I don't think you should discredit like a learning experience. Like, I feel like I did learn to protect myself a little bit and not get carried away.